All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to break down the story of a tech company that was, frankly, on the verge of blowing a huge investor pitch. We're going to see how they went from this kind of soft, academic vision to a razor-sharp, investable strategy, all because of one incredibly brutal memo.
And it really all kicked off with this. This quote is basically a declaration of war from the company's new chief strategy officer. It just cuts through all the fluff and lays down a new law. Forget the high-minded ideas. Investors want a fortress. They want to know about CAC, how much it costs you to get a single customer. They care about ARR, that predictable money you're making year after year. And moats, what makes you impossible to copy. This right here, this is the moment the whole game changed.
So, what was the problem in the first place? Well, you had this company with absolutely world-changing tech, but their story was putting investors to sleep. And they were about to go on a huge Series A roadshow, and the pitch just wasn't landing. At all.
And that was the mission. I mean, just picture it. Stacks and stacks of dense technical documents, market research, you name it. The challenge was to take all of that and boil it down into a story so simple and so powerful that it could sell this revolutionary idea in about the time it takes to skip a YouTube ad. The pressure was definitely on.
Now, to really get how big this transformation was, you have to see where they started. So let's take a look at the before picture, the original pitch. It was, well-intentioned, but just way too soft for the cutthroat world of venture capital.
So here's what's so interesting about that original pitch, the language they used. You've got phrases like psychological alignment and solving catastrophic forgetting, which, by the way, is a real problem where an AI forgets old info when it learns new stuff. These are fascinating ideas if you're a researcher. But for an investor, they don't get a check written. The whole pitch was focused on this grand vision, and it totally missed the raw economic pain point.
And this was their hook. I mean, again, it's poetic, right? It's aspirational, but in a market that is just flooded with chatbots, it's not nearly aggressive enough. It's trying to sell a feature, an AI that remembers, instead of solving a massive, expensive, industry-wide problem.
Okay, and this is where everything changes. Let's dive into the CSO's radical rewrite and see how this thing gets rebuilt from the ground up. And listen, this wasn't just them changing a few words around. This was a fundamental shift in their entire philosophy.
This just illustrates the pivot perfectly. On the left, you have this soft, kind of vague concept. On the right, you have a sharp, aggressive, and economically powerful solution. The death of the retrain cycle speaks directly to the CFOs and the engineers who are just bleeding money every single quarter. It's a massive shift from selling a vision to solving an absolute nightmare.
Just look at that difference. The old hook is all about their product. The new hook, it's about the customer's profit. So instead of being just another chatbot in a super crowded market, they completely reposition themselves as the essential infrastructure that makes the entire market profitable. Now that is how you build a moat.
And this right here gets to the heart of it. The CSO realized that the real pain wasn't just that AI models forget. It was that making them remember cost millions of dollars in compute power every single quarter. By reframing the problem as this catastrophic economic flaw in the entire AI industry, their solution suddenly became infinitely more valuable.
Okay, so they've got this new killer strategy locked in. But how do you actually sell it? This is where their first product, AegisNet, gets a marketing message designed for maximum impact. This is where the strategy becomes cinema.
So at the heart of AegisNet is this tech called a cryptographic air gap. But let's be real, who knows what that means? The genius was in the analogy, a digital panic room. It's instant, it's visceral, you immediately get it. It's a place of absolute safety when everything outside is just chaos. And here's how that panic room actually works. It's a three-step kill switch. First, it uses predictive logic to see an attack before it even happens. Then, and this is the crazy part, it doesn't fight back, it just severs the connection. And third, it completely isolates the asset. See, the goal isn't to win the fight, it's to make the prize vanish before the fight even begins.
This quote, pulled right from their strategy docs, is really the emotional core of the whole campaign. It taps into the deepest fear in the entire market, that your insurance won't cover you and your software is going to fail. It positions AegisNet not as just another piece of software, but as the only physical guarantee in a digital world, like a vault door slamming shut.
Honestly, this slide right here, it's basically the Rosetta Stone for the whole campaign.
It shows you exactly how they translated every dry, strategic concept into a gut-punch marketing hook and a visual you can literally see in your head. Uninsurable risk becomes a picture of burning money. The kill switch becomes that vault door. This is where strategy literally becomes cinema.
But here's the real kicker. AegisNet, this whole digital panic room thing, that was just the opening move. That was just step one in a much, much bigger game. The CSO's master plan had an ambition that went way beyond just cybersecurity. This was the end game. It wasn't about building a better chatbot. The goal was to become the Intel Inside for the entire AI industry. To be the one essential component, the memory, that all the big AI labs would eventually have no choice but to buy from them.
And this is the brilliant boardroom analogy that makes it all just click. It frames this super complex problem of catastrophic forgetting in simple human terms that anyone can understand. It's not a tech problem anymore. It's like having an employee who can't remember what happened yesterday. It's insanely expensive, it's inefficient, and this company has the cure.
And that's what made the whole strategy so genius. It completely sidestepped the competition. They weren't trying to build a bigger AI than Google or OpenAI. Nope, they were selling all of them the one thing they were missing, a long-term memory upgrade that would finally make their model stable, efficient, and most importantly, profitable.
So yeah, we started with just a single sentence in a memo and followed it all the way to a killer product and an industry-defining endgame. But it leaves us with one last, pretty big question to think about. What does it really mean for the future of AI when the long-term memory of an entire industry is sold as an upgrade?